Hi, I'm Deborah, one of the CA program modulators. The purpose of this video is to guide you as you reflect on your approach to learning and your exam results. We understand that getting through the CA program is a big deal, and if you missed out on the result you wanted, especially by just a few marks, we know how incredibly disappointed and disheartened you might be feeling. So, wanting to race ahead and dig into the details of the exam and the suggested solutions is completely understandable. Here's the thing though, your exam result is a function of two things: what you did or didn't do in terms of your study habits, your exam technique, and your specific answers to the exam questions, and what you have or haven't got in terms of your mindset and your technical knowledge. What you'll notice is that most of these factors can't be affected once you get into the exam room. In fact, you've already determined most of these factors before you get to the exam, and that's why I want to talk about these other factors first, before we get into your answers, because what you wrote in the exam is only a small part of the whole picture. The module outline, welcome video, and CA program policies are good references on what's expected of you as a CA program candidate. If you aren't familiar with these, it's a good idea to revisit them now as we begin our reflection. I'll guide you through some detailed reflection questions and also provide some commentary for you to consider as you reflect. First, let's consider how you approach the module. Did you adopt a hurdle mindset where you're just focused on passing the exam, or did you have a mastery mindset where you're focused on the learning and mastering the knowledge and skills covered in the module for their own sake? In other words, did you go beyond just understanding what you were learning and also consider the how and why of what you were learning? A candidate with a mastery mindset knows that even if they never work in that particular field of accounting, the knowledge and skills that they gain from the module will help them go far in their career, no matter where they end up. Each of the modules is designed to give you a strong foundation in each area of expertise to enable you to become a well-rounded professional. If you've approached the module with a mastery mindset, it's likely that not only will you do better in the exam, it's likely that what you've learned will stick with you long after the exam. If you started the module not being comfortable with the assumed knowledge, you would have been fighting an uphill battle the whole time. The higher level skills covered in the module depends on you having a solid understanding of the fundamental concepts that are assumed knowledge, such as basic journal entries, including common double entries and directions of debits and credits, how standard business processes and accounting systems work, for example, the difference between a general ledger, trial balance, and a subledger, core concepts in each technical area. Your module outline contains a summary of the assumed knowledge for each module. It's important for you to be really honest with yourself in terms of whether you were across the assumed knowledge. If you weren't, it's important that you find a way to get on top of it before you do anything else. For example, you might start by reviewing the notes and textbooks from your previous studies. The module plan, Blackboard, and the learning materials all provide some guidance on the suggested hours of study for the module. However, your actual study load will depend on your mindset and your level of assumed knowledge. Because the CA program focuses on the application of knowledge, there's no shortcuts. It takes time to get your head around the basic concepts, integrate them, and get comfortable enough to critically think about them and start exercising professional judgment. If you approach the module with a mastery mindset, you'll view the time you spent studying as a valuable investment in yourself and in your career. Each module has lots of other resources available on Blackboard that you can use to complement the core content in the CSG, required readings, worked examples, and activities. Did you consider and use these other resources, or did you solely rely on the CSG to get you through the exam? Did you actively engage with the content and other learning resources available, or did you mostly read and highlight sentences in the CSG? Did you have a study environment that helped you focus, or was it full of distractions? Understanding and being able to apply the concepts taught in each module requires more than rote learning and memorization. Did you take responsibility and ownership of your learning and proactively look for help when you needed it? Help could have involved starting or joining a study group, checking in with your mentor, doing independent research, posting on the discussion forum, enrolling in CA Study Masterclass, or otherwise reaching out to the module team. Now, let's reflect on your exam preparation. Some common reactions to the exam paper and suggested solutions often include things like, "This wasn't in the CSG," or "This isn't the same as that worked example or activity." These kinds of reactions generally indicate a candidate who has taken a hurdle approach to the module. Candidates with a hurdle approach often ask questions like, "Do I need to read all of the required readings?" The Code of Ethics, financial reporting standards, the auditing standards, and tax legislation are complex things, and there are no shortcuts to understanding them. If you don't know the guidance, the standards, or the legislation, it's unlikely you would be able to apply them appropriately to the scenarios presented in the exam. Is your critical file a set of reference materials that helps you free up brain space by avoiding the need to memorize things? Can you find things easily in your critical file? How much time did you invest in consolidating and connecting new pieces of knowledge and insight from your studying into your critical file? Did you consider practicing under true exam conditions? Did you consider logistics around getting to the exam on time? Did you have strategies in place to manage your own health and mental well-being? Finally, let's talk about exam day and during the exam. We won't repeat the information you've already got from the Exam Tips and Techniques document in Blackboard. We'll just focus on two things. The important thing you need to realize from an exam technique perspective is that an incorrect answer and a non-attempt both get 0 marks. So, how did you make sure you maximized your opportunities to gain marks? How did you react to the format, style, and area focus in the question? Was it something you expected or something you were unprepared for? And were you able to manage your reaction? Were you using your critical file as a reference to help you fill out the details in your answers or to confirm you were headed in the right direction? Or were you searching through your materials and trying to learn the concepts being tested while you were answering the question? The exam is open book and tests whether you can apply the knowledge and concepts taught in the module to a specific set of facts and circumstances. So, were you able to recognize the key facts in the scenario? Did you understand what the required was looking for, particularly in terms of the task words? Were you able to break down the question and recognize the key issues? And did you use the mark allocation as a guide? I hope that you've been able to get some good insights out of your reflection. Now you're ready to get stuck into the details of the exam and the suggested solutions.